What if I told you that the most widely read book in the world was never meant to just be read? What if it contains a hidden technology, a set of activation codes for reality hidden in plain sight? Forget everything you think you know about the Psalms. In the next few minutes, you will discover the lost framework of how the ancients used these words, not as passive prayers, but as precise tools to calibrate their own reality. Have you ever felt that you're stuck in the read-only mode of life, just watching things happen? What if you could switch to write mode? We have all felt it, that sense of disconnect. You read a passage of profound wisdom, and for a moment, a light flickers on inside. You feel a sense of clarity, of peace. But then Monday morning arrives and the challenges of the day extinguish that flame, leaving you right back where you started. This is the subtle tragedy of passive information. We collect knowledge, but it rarely translates into transformation. We feel that a crucial piece of the puzzle is missing. This is because our modern approach to sacred texts is fundamentally different from the ancient worldview. To us, words are symbols. They point to things, but to the mystics of the past, words were containers. They were living vibrational structures that could directly influence the fabric of reality. They understood that a loss of meaning wasn't the real issue. The real tragedy was the loss of a method. We haven't just lost a secret, we have lost a skill. We approach a text like the Bible as if it were an artifact in a museum, sealed behind glass. We are taught to analyze it, to admire its historical context, to debate its translations. But what if it was never meant to be a static object of admiration? What if it was designed to be a vibrational instrument, and we, collectively, have forgotten how to play it? It's like having the source code for the most powerful application in the world, but only ever reading the developer's comments instead of compiling and running the code itself. For centuries, we have been admiring the code instead of running the program. The key we are looking to recover, then, is not some hidden-away secret. It is an interactive technology of the human soul. It is a method of engagement that turns a passive reader into an active participant in the act of creation itself. We are not here to invent something new, but to remember something profoundly old. To understand this lost technology, we must look to its most legendary operator, King Solomon. The story we are told is that of a wise and just king, a man of profound judgment. But this is the surface narrative. In esoteric traditions, Solomon was not merely a ruler, he was a mystical architect, a master of the unseen laws of the universe. This view is not a modern invention. Ancient, non-biblical texts, like the Testament of Solomon, paint a far different picture. In these accounts, Solomon is depicted as a figure who could command spiritual intelligences, binding them with divine names and sacred words to construct his legendary temple. This wasn't just wisdom, it was operational power. But this might still sound like myth, so let's move from legend to hard evidence. Archaeologists across the Middle East have unearthed thousands of what are called incantation bowls, particularly from ancient Mesopotamia. These simple clay bowls, dating back to the early centuries of the Common Era, were inscribed in a spiral with intricate Aramaic script. They were buried under the floors of homes as a form of spiritual protection. Similarly, from the medieval period, we have countless examples of Jewish amulets, small scrolls or metal pendants worn on the body. And what do we find written on these bowls and amulets, these ancient tools of practical magic? They are inscribed with exact verses from the Book of Psalms. This is not a theory. It is an archaeological fact. For centuries, people from all walks of life were not just reading the Psalms for comfort, they were writing them, wearing them, and building them into their homes as a functional technology for healing, for prosperity, and for protection against harm. When you hold this fact, the picture of Solomon shifts. He becomes the archetype, the master programmer who first understood the system. The Psalms were his spiritual programming language. And these ancient amulets and bowls are the physical evidence that this software was widely distributed, a practical tool used to interface directly with the currents of life. We are not just uncovering a forgotten story. We are rediscovering a lost system of physics. So, how do we begin to play this forgotten music? This is not a matter of random chance or blind faith. It is a precise skill, a form of spiritual acoustics that operates on three fundamental laws. For the effect to be produced, these three laws must work in perfect harmony. This is the operational manual. The first law is clarity of command. The modern word for this is intention, but that word has become too passive. A command is different. It is an act of sovereign will. It moves you from a state of asking to a state of directing. Before a single word is spoken, you must define the exact outcome you wish to create with the precision of a laser. Vague desires produce vague results. Your life force follows your focus, and a clear, concise command is the lens that focuses it into a coherent beam. The second law is resonant frequency. Once your command is clear, you must choose the correct tool. Each psalm is a unique resonant frequency, a vibrational structure tuned to a specific state of being. Psalm 91, for example, resonates with the frequency of absolute safety and divine protection. Psalm 23 resonates with the frequency of utter sufficiency and contentment. This is not poetry, it is physics. You deliberately choose the frequency that matches the state you wish to embody. The third law is the most crucial, and it is the one that almost everyone misses. It is the law of the embodied state. This is what closes the circuit. You do not recite the words in order to get a feeling. You must first generate the feeling in order to activate the words. To use a psalm for protection, you do not plead for safety. You first access and embody the feeling of being unshakably safe within your own body. You become the fortress. It is only from within that state of being that you speak the words. The feeling is the electricity. The words are the circuit that shapes it and gives it direction. This is an act of embodiment, not of petition. And here we arrive at the central secret, the revelation that makes this entire system work. Why does a command spoken from an embodied state have the power to create change? The common metaphor you might hear is that a sacred text acts as a mirror, reflecting your divine nature back to you. And while there is some truth to that, it is incomplete. It is too passive. The truth is far more active and far more powerful. The Psalms are not a mirror. They are a tuning fork. Consider the difference. A mirror can only show you what is already there. It reflects your current state. If you are frowning, it shows you a frown. If you are smiling, it shows you a smile. It is a passive reflection of your present condition. A tuning fork, however, operates on a completely different principle. When you strike a tuning fork, it does not consult its environment. It does not care what other sounds are in the room. It sings its one single perfect note. It broadcasts its native frequency, pure and unwavering. And then, a law of physics takes over, the law of sympathetic resonance. Any other object in that room capable of vibrating at that same frequency will be compelled to do so. It does not reflect, it calibrates. It brings things into tune with itself. This is the principle you are engaging with. When you recite Psalm 91 for protection, you are not merely looking in a mirror to see a protected version of yourself. You are striking the ancient archetypal tuning fork of divine safety. You are broadcasting its frequency into your own being. And your consciousness, your cells, your thoughts, your energetic field begins to resonate with it. The parts of you that are out of tune with safety, the parts vibrating with fear and anxiety, are gently but powerfully compelled to align with this higher, more coherent frequency. This is the key. You are not trying to change the world outside of you. You are using a proven, ancient frequency to recalibrate your world inside of you. You are tuning your own instrument. And when your inner state is fundamentally altered, the reality you perceive and attract must, by law, change to match it. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your frequency. This is not wishful thinking. It is the law of resonance. Let's move this from the abstract into the applied. Let's take these ancient tuning forks and use them to calibrate our experience of very modern problems. Here is a starter kit, a set of 3 fundamental practices. The method for each is the same. First, define your command with absolute clarity. Then, speak the words from an embodied state. And finally, feel the resonance. The first is for establishing energetic boundaries, for the empathetic soul who walks into a room and feels as if they absorb the emotional state of everyone in it. It is a shield against psychological and spiritual overload. The tool is Psalm 91 verse 4. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. Your command is, I am sovereign in my energetic space. Psychologically, this is an exercise in creating and reinforcing healthy boundaries. You are training your subconscious mind to distinguish between what is yours to feel and what belongs to another. You are not building a wall, you are defining your own sacred ground. The second is for finding focus in the midst of chaos. It is the antidote to analysis paralysis, that feeling of being so overwhelmed by options and information that you do nothing. The tool is Psalm 119 verse 105. Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path. Your command is, my next step is revealed with clarity. This practice quiets the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that tries to calculate every possible future at once. By focusing only on the light for the very next step, you release the burden of having to see the entire staircase. You move from a state of paralyzing anxiety to one of focused, immediate action. The third is for shifting from a mindset of chronic scarcity to one of deep sufficiency. It addresses that persistent inner feeling that there is not enough time, energy, or resources. The tool is the famous opening of Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Your command is, I operate from a state of complete sufficiency. This practice is a direct counter-programming to the brain's natural negativity bias. The science of gratitude confirms that by actively focusing on what is present and sufficient right now, you retrain your brain to scan for opportunity and provision, not just for lack and threat. You are not pretending to have things you don't. You are fully inhabiting the profound reality of what you already do. This is the foundation from which all true abundance grows. Today, we have rediscovered a lost art. We've seen that the Psalms are not just passive poetry, but a form of spiritual technology. A technology that operates on the laws of acoustics, using precise command, resonant frequency, and the embodied state to function not as a mirror, but as a tuning fork recalibrating you, not the world around you. The wisdom of the ancients did not give us a spellbook to merely be read. It gave us an instrument to be played. And here is the final, most important secret of all. You are not just the musician who decides which note to play. You are the instrument itself, waiting to be brought into tune. So the question to carry with you from this moment forward is a simple one. What frequency will you choose to broadcast today? Will it be the static of fear and distraction, or will it be one of the ancient, coherent songs of creation itself? The journey to becoming a musician of your own reality begins with a single, deliberate note. Of the 3 tuning forks we shared today, for boundaries, for clarity, or for sufficiency, which one will you test first? Let us know your choice in the comments below. If you are ready to tune your inner instrument and play a more beautiful song with your life, subscribe to Mystic Sages and join the orchestra.